Hey guys, welcome to Manoeuvre Education. This is Aditi Ray and today we'll talk about a very important topic from the verbal section of the upcoming CET examination, that is para-jumbles. So out of the 50 questions dedicated to the verbal ability section, the maximum chunk of the questions happen to be from the reading comprehension section. And the next in line in terms of weightage comes the para-jumbles. So para-jumbles happens to be a very important section from your MBA CET examination. So ignoring these questions during your preparation is going to be a big disaster on your examination day, especially because these are extremely easy questions and you can easily master this topic after some practice. So today we'll look at a few questions and solve them to see how comfortable we are at solving these type of questions, and then we will analyze the tricks and strategies that will help us with our preparation ahead. This is the first set that I have for you. There are 5 questions or 5 statements here and we have to arrange them in logical flow so as to make a meaningful paragraph. Alright, so statement number 1, that is A, it talks about voluntary measures such as codes of conduct have failed to address these issues and deliver change. Statement B talks about, however, they can also cause serious problems with their irresponsible behavior. Statement C, companies are a powerful force of God. Statement D, there are several instances of companies undermining workers' rights and damaging the environment. And statement E, they provide jobs, boosts economies and aid social and environmental development. Now these are the 5 statements here right in front of us, and these are the options provided to us with asking us to choose which is the right combination of these sentences that make a meaningful paragraph. Now here, if you look at the first words of all these statements very carefully, alright, you will understand that there are certain words that a sentence will never begin with unless and until it is a continuation of some other previous topic or some other previous sentence, right? So let us see however. Now you do not start a sentence with however if you are talking about a sentence in itself. We always start a sentence with however if we have already mentioned something before that and it is a continuation of the earlier statement or an earlier topic that we have spoken about. So this however, this cannot be the opening sentence definitely. Let us move ahead. They. Again, they means this is a pronoun which is talking about some noun. Something has already been spoken about before and I am again referring to that thing here by the word they, right? So this also cannot be the opening sentence. Now let us look more closely. Voluntary measures such as codes of conduct have failed to address these issues. Now here again these issues, that means the issues have been spoken about before and therefore I am talking about those issues here in this statement as these issues, right? So this also cannot be the opening statement. Let us see what is left with us. We are left with statement C and statement D. Statement C talks about companies are a powerful force of God. Now yes, this can be an opening statement because this does not give any reference to something that has already been said or spoken above. This is a statement in itself. It completely makes sense as the first statement of the paragraph, and therefore this can be our opening statement. Now let us look at statement number D before we come to a final conclusion. There are several instances of companies undermining workers' rights and damaging the environment. Although yes, this also is a complete sentence in itself, but still statement C sounds more like the opening statement, and therefore our first statement in the paragraph is going to be C. Now let us see which logically follows this statement and to make a comprehensible, meaningful paragraph. The first statement being companies are a powerful force of God, then they provide jobs, they means these companies. Alright, now here they, I'm talking about the companies who are a powerful force of God. So they provide jobs, boosts economies and aid social and environmental development. So my second statement in line would be statement E. Then comes, however, they can also cause serious problems with their irresponsible behavior. Now here, however, I am contradicting whatever I have earlier mentioned about the companies. So in the first statement I am saying companies are a powerful force of God. Then I say, why are they powerful force of God? Because they provide jobs, boosts economies and aid social and environmental development. This is the reason I have mentioned that companies are a powerful force of God. But however, I am contradicting whatever I have told in the earlier two statements, and I am saying, however, they can also cause serious problems with their irresponsible behavior. Now this sentence is in a negative tone. Then the next statement that will follow in line with statement B is D. There are several instances of companies undermining workers' rights and damaging the environment. Now this is an example of what I have already mentioned here in statement B. I am talking about the irresponsible behavior of the companies, and an example would be that there are several instances of companies undermining the workers' rights and damaging the environment. And then the next statement in line would be statement A, that even voluntary measures such as the codes of conduct have failed to address these issues. Now what are these issues that I had already mentioned about? These issues are, I'm talking about the issues of the workers' rights, the damaging of the environment, the irresponsible behavior of the companies. I'm talking about all these issues. Now these issues have been failed to address by the voluntary measures such as the codes of conduct which are set up by the companies. Therefore, the right statement, the right order in which the paragraph makes sense would be C, E, B, D, A. Now let us look which of the option suggests this answer. It is option number 1, this C, E, B, D, A. This is going to be our right answer. Now here is set 2, again with 5 statements A, B, C, D, E, and here are the options below. So during this aging process, you had first heard statements such as, I'm sorry, there's a correction here, it's you can't ride your bicycle till you are 7 and you can't drive a car till you are 18. Statement B says, but you need to remember that part of you has an ageless mind and is quite oblivious to the physical aging process. You need to encourage it to overcome his excuse of being old. Statement C says, the age excuse of being too old from an inclination to identify with the number of trips you have made about the sun. Statement D, the age of your body can seem quite an obstacle on the road to changing long-held thinking habits. Statement E, then at some point you discovered that you went from being not old enough to being too old. So here, let us again look at the first words of all the statements here given in front of us. During, but, the age again, then. Now let us try and eliminate, the first step is try to eliminate all the sentences that we think will never be the opening sentence. Now during this aging process, now we are talking about this aging process. Which aging process? We have not mentioned something before that. So there must be something that must be talking about our aging process, and this must be the continuation of that sentence talking about during this aging process. So this cannot be our opening statement. Let us see the next statement. But you need to remember, again here but, which means I am contradicting to something that I have already mentioned. So this also cannot be my opening sentence. Now let us look at option number C. The age excuse of being too old from an inclination to identify with the number of trips you have made around the sun. Yes, this can possibly be our opening sentence because this does not talk about anything which we have earlier mentioned. This is a statement in itself. Let us see option number D. Statement number D. The age of your body can seem quite an obstacle on the road to changing long-held thinking habits. Yes, this also makes sense for the opening statement. Statement number E. Then at some point you discovered that you went from being not old enough to being too old. Then this also talks about when we are talking about some sentence in continuation. I have already mentioned something above and I am continuing that then something happened. Earlier XYZ happened and now then something else has happened, right? So this also cannot be our opening statements. The options, we are left with statement C and statement D to be our opening statement. Now let us try and see which of these two statements can definitely be our opening statement. The age excuse of being too old from an inclination to identify with the number of trips you have made around the sun. Yes, this possibly can be our opening statement, but this does not really make a logical sense. This does not talk about the theme of the passage here in front of us, and therefore this cannot be our opening statement. Let us look at statement number D. The age of your body can seem quite an obstacle on the road to changing long-held thinking habits. Yes, this definitely talks about the theme of the sentence. This can be our opening line. So the first statement is going to be D. Let us see the next statement. During this aging process, now here we have spoken about our aging process, how the age of your body can seem quite an obstacle on the road to changing long-held thinking habits. We are trying to change our thinking habits and not be defined by the age of our body, right? So statement number A talks about during this aging process, you had first heard statements such as you can't ride your bicycle till you are 7 or you can't drive a car till you are 18. So yes, this makes sense. D, A is going to be our second statement. Now let us look at which can be our statement number 3. Then at some point you discover that you went from being not old enough to being too old. Yes, now here we are talking about age barriers, how we fix age barriers in our mind, like you cannot drive a bicycle till you are 7 years old or you cannot drive a car till you are 18 years old, and how from suddenly not being too old enough to you become suddenly too old for something else, right? So this is a continuation of statement number A, and therefore the next statement is going to be statement number E. Now let us see which can be the next statement here. The age excuse of being too old from an inclination to identify with the number of trips you have made around the sun. Now this statement is going to be the next statement, statement C, and last but not the least, statement B is going to be our ending sentence. But you need to remember that part of you has an ageless mind and is quite oblivious to the physical aging process. You need to encourage it to overcome this excuse of being old, right? So we have already mentioned about how you become forced by your mind to think that you're old, right? How your body makes you feel that you're becoming old, and you can alter the entire process by thinking, by using your mind. And lastly, we finish off the paragraph by saying, but you need to remember that you have an ageless mind, right? You can change everything with your mind. If you think you're young, you will physically be young too, right? So this is going to be our final answer. Let us see which of the statements we can find this, which of the options we can find this. It is option number 2, D, A, E, C, B. This is going to be the correct sequence of our answer, right? I hope you are following how we are solving these para-jumble questions. These are extremely important from your CET point of view. Let us see the next set. Now this is another type of question that keeps coming in your CET. You will be given 5 statements and you will not be asked to arrange them directly like we earlier saw in the earlier questions. Here you will of course have to first make the correct find the correct sequence of the sentences, but they will ask you questions like which of the following sentences should be third after rearranging, or which of the following sentences would be fifth after rearranging, or something like that, right? I hope you get the flow of it. Statement A talks about the Taliban are not in any sense authentic representatives of Islam. Statement B, they are, this is going to be they, right? So they are a product of the madrasas in the northwest of Pakistan which foster a narrow sectarian mindset. Statement C, the destruction of the statue of Buddha in Afghanistan by the Taliban is vandalism of the worst sort being perpetrated in the name of Islam. Statement D, the teaching in these madrasas are far from spiritual and is politically motivated. Statement E, and their acts of omission and commission should not be looked as a representative of Islamic teachings, much less the Islamic spirit. Right? So we are talking about the Islam and we are comparing it to Taliban, and how the terrorism of these Taliban people, they claim to be Islamic but they are actually not. How they do not follow the teachings, the spiritual spirit of Islam, and how they wrongly represent Islamic culture, right? So let us try and again spot the first words and see which of the sentences can we eliminate from being the first statement, the opening line of the paragraph. Okay, so statement A, let us see, the Taliban. Yes, this makes sense. This can be our opening sentence. Let us see the next statement. They are a product. Now again here they, I need to be talking about something to mention them as they. So this cannot be my opening statement in the paragraph. The destruction of the statue of Buddha in Afghanistan by the Taliban is vandalism of the worst sort being perpetrated in the name of Islam. Yes, this too can be my opening statement, but let me read all the statements before reaching to a final conclusion. The teaching in these madrasas. Now here these madrasas, that means I've already mentioned something about madrasas before, and these madrasas comes next in line after that. So this cannot be my opening statement. And their acts of omission and commission. Their acts, that means I'm talking about some group, some people, and I'm talking about their acts here. So this also cannot be my opening statement. What am I left with? I'm left with statement A and statement C to find out which of them is my opening statement. Now here, the destruction of the statue of Buddha in Afghanistan by the Taliban is vandalism of the worst sort being perpetrated in the name of Islam. Now here, this, yes, this can be my first statement, statement C. Then I will talk about the Taliban are not in any sense authentic representatives of Islam. Here I have already mentioned that the Taliban are vandalizing the statues of Buddha and many various places. They are vandalizing and spreading terror all around the world. And what are they doing it? They are doing it in the name of Islam. I have already said this in the first statement. In the second statement, I am saying, I am contradicting what I have already said, and I will say Taliban are not in any sense authentic representatives of Islam. So this is going to be my statement second. Let us see which can be my third statement. And their acts of omission. Now here there means I am talking about the group of Taliban. So the Taliban here becomes there. And their acts of omission and commission should not be looked as a representative of Islamic teachings, much less the Islamic spirit. Why am I saying this here? Because I have already mentioned in the second statement that these groups, the Taliban, are not in any sense the authentic representatives of Islam. So they should not be looked at as the representatives of Islamic teachings. So statement number E is going to be my third statement. Now, which can be my fourth statement? They are a product of the madrasas in the northwest. Now here they, again I'm talking about the group Taliban. So they are a product of the madrasas in the northwest of Pakistan which foster a narrow sectarian mindset. So this is going to be my fourth statement. And the last statement is going to be statement D, the teachings in these madrasas. Now here I've already mentioned about madrasas. Where are these madrasas situated? They are situated in the northwest of Pakistan. And here in statement D, I'm talking about these madrasas are far from spiritual and is politically motivated. So statement D is going to be my ending statement in this paragraph. Now that we have finished making the set of the right sequence of our paragraph, let us see which is the right answer of these three questions. Question number 1 asks, which of the following sentences should be the third after rearranging? Now here this is the right set after we are done with rearranging, and statement E is going to be third after rearranging. So third 3E is our option, right answer. The second question, which of the following sentences should be fifth after rearranging? So which is going to be fifth after rearranging? It is statement D. Alright. And the third statement, the third question, which of the following sentences should be first after rearranging? It is C. So C is going to be first after rearranging. This is how you're supposed to solve your parajumble questions. I hope you're getting a hang of how to solve these questions, how you're supposed to start, and what are the things you need to keep in your mind. Now let us see the strategies, the tricks that you can keep in your mind for practicing further questions like these. Parajumbles is a very important topic from your CET point of view. Around 6 to 8 questions came last year in the examination out of total 50 questions from the verbal ability section. So I hope you understand the importance of these 6 to 8 questions in your examination. Now the tricks, the strategies that you can keep in your mind while solving parajumble questions is, first you have to identify the topic sentence, right? You have to try and find out which can be the opening line of your statement. This is how we solve these questions here, right? So you have to identify the topic statement, the opening line, and the easier way of doing it by eliminating which of the sentences cannot be your opening line. So you have to eliminate and then try and find out which are the sentences that can possibly be your opening sentence, which is forming the key representative of the entire passage. The topic sentence in the first sentence or the introductory sentence that explains what the paragraph is about. So this is the first step that you have to do. Try and find out the first sentence in the passage by eliminating the sentences that will never be, that cannot be the opening sentence of a passage, right? The second thing that you need to keep in mind, you have to find and look out for the clue words. Now this is the most important part of solving parajumble statements. You have to look out for the clue words. Now the clue words can be in chronological clue words, right? So you can have a statement beginning from first and then have a statement saying next. So of course this follows line. So again, something like then, later, initially, subsequently, finally. Words like these can be your big clue words. They can help you identify the sequence in which they are forming, right? The second statement, the second clue words that you can look for are the contradictory or contrasting clue words. Clue words like however, but, although, yet, rather, while. These are the clue words that will help you connect the statements, alright, help you connect the flow of the statements, and therefore that will help you in your forming the right order of the parajumbles. The next thing that you can keep in your mind are the cause and effect clue words. Because, as, since, according to, consequently, so as to, right? There are many more. So these are the cause and effect. This will help you identify the cause of a certain thing and the effect that it had. So these are the words that will help you immensely in your parajumble formations. The next is the descriptive clue words. For example, for instance, such as, in addition, furthermore, also, to begin with, likewise, another, example, etc. So these are the words that will help elaborate or expand the idea that has already been mentioned before. So these are the descriptive clue words. Alright, so for example, I'm talking about XYZ and then I will give an example of XYZ to explain it in a better idea or a better format. So these are the things that you need to keep in your mind. The third thing that you need to keep in your mind is, if these clue words are not present, then what do you do? So then you identify the keyword or the phrase in the sentence. There has to be a key word or a key idea that represents the entire sentence or all the sentences in the paragraph, and then you have to try to connect the dots, try to make this paragraph in a proper flow. So this will help you connect the sequential sentences and ask questions. Now ask questions, this is very important. You have to ask questions, is this the right order? If you were starting a sentence, if you were starting a paragraph of your own, would this be the opening line? Would this be the connecting dots? You have to ask question, is this making the right flow in the paragraph? Alright, so this is how you're supposed to answer the para-jumble questions. I hope you have understood the strategies that you can keep in your mind. The more you practice these para-jumble questions, the better you will be at solving them in your examination day. So keep practicing more and more statements, more and more para-jumbles, so that you are better at them. Now you can join us for the MBA-CET 2019 crash course with us. The batch starts from 1st of February 2019 and the enrollment, last day for the enrollment is 30th Jan 2019. It is right here, so don't waste any further time. Join us for our MBA-CET crash course. You can contact us at our Borivali Center at this number 9076 424208, or you can also contact us at our DADAR Center at 730 436682 or 81. You can also visit us on our website, that is www.manoeuvreedu.com. So there's hardly a month remaining from the examination, so don't lose any more time. Start your preparation right now if you have not yet begun. You can contact us at our Borivali branch here at this number. You can contact us at our Dadar branch, or you can contact our online team at 8828581455. If you like the video, please share and subscribe the channel below. You can also share us with your friends on Facebook and WhatsApp. All the best for your upcoming examinations. Thank you.